Nothing could have helped the Chiefs more in getting their goal to get to that three-peat than what they just did. I'm happy you guys are here. Welcome. I know it's just a couple days after Christmas, but let's break it down. Welcome back, everybody. Obviously, recording a little bit outside the studio, visiting family for the extended holiday and that kind of thing. So thought I'd bring you a little bit further reaction at this point because in retrospect, nothing could have helped the Chiefs more in their overall goal to get a third Super Bowl title in a row than having gotten this first seed. It was iffy for a long, long time, I have to admit. But at this point, now that they're there, what do they get out of it? Expect to see the stars not play anytime super soon. I honestly don't think that Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, probably not DJ Humphries either. Maybe you give Justin Reed some time off. Certainly anybody that's banged up like Mike Pennell. Maybe CRW now that he had a little thing during the game as well. I think they all should be off until the divisional game. Take that time, particularly the big three in Jones, Kelce, and Mahomes. I think y'all have to give them as much time as possible to just rest and recuperate, get their feet up, and just do very, very little. I mean, even limited practice reps too, because you still take a pounding on hard, natural surface outside when they practice. So you do have to take that into account. And I know that this looks a little bit weird today, so I'm just going to be moving around a little bit more than normal just to give you my thoughts on this breakdown episode because it's super, super critical. There's nothing more important, really, to get to this three-peat than this rest right now. And it's not just for the stars. So you have that core group, that elite group that has to get rest. You also have to see if DJ Humphries can work in. I don't think he should play in this last preseason. This last regular season game. I know for the Chiefs it feels like it's a preseason kind of deal, but I don't think DJ Humphries should go out there at all. In fact, what I would do personally is I would not play any of the starters except possibly Creed in this game against the Broncos that's coming up here. Because not only do you have to get experienced, you got to get some eval time on guys like Norzad. Maybe you get you can switch out a little bit there. Obviously, Caliendo. You got to get Kingsley back onto the field, and you got to get Wanya back on the field if he's ready to go. He may not actually be, in which case that's Ethan Driscoll, which you definitely need to get some game reps on. The difference, the only thing for Creed that I think is a little bit different is the exchanges. He's probably been practicing in a mixture the last couple of weeks, ever since they thought, hey, he might have to play. Given the stability of Creed to start with, I don't think Creed's in any danger, to tell you the truth, of just playing a couple of drives and then letting the lineup switch. You definitely want to play Carson Wentz. You need him to have some reps in case he has to come in, but I would wholesale let the younger offensive lineman play, if at all possible, in any way. And normally Mike Caliendo would be one of those backups, but he's not going to be in this case yet. I do think if they get DJ Humphries to the point where they feel he can play, they will play him in the playoffs rather than leaving Joe Thuney out at left tackle. I do think they want to get back to Joe at left guard. So be prepared for that. Outside of that, the question really becomes then, what do you do at wide receiver, right? A lot of banged up there. So I think D-Hop could probably use a little bit of rest. I know he's had a knee thing, a little ankle thing, a lot of little nagging things. Let him take some rest there. Playing Xavier right now, I think feels like you need to just to keep his rhythm, but I wouldn't play him past the first quarter. Same thing with Hollywood Brown. Get a little bit of reps and get him out of there. You cannot take a chance of either of those guys getting significantly hurt for the postseason. Just can't do it. Yes, after that game, they'll have a wild card week off, but that is still a much, much bigger deal than if they were to sustain some kind of injury that would limit them. This is what they've been building for all season, and I don't want to see them take any kind of risks at putting that plan into jeopardy. So that said, Travis out. Noah might even get limited reps. So I want to see Kupp come up. I want to see Hendershot in particular get some reps. I like what Ferkser did. Obviously, with your top two out, you just want to get as many options as you can. If the Chiefs lose and end up 15-2 this season, nobody's going to care. I certainly won't. I know you guys won't. The record books won't. It doesn't matter. It's all about that third trophy in a row. So I would let the young guys play on offense, limit everybody else. I'd like to see Nico Remilio get a lot of offensive snaps in this game as well. I think that would be perfect for what you're doing longer term and what comes after the season, whenever it ends, so that you know, have a better idea evaluation-wise of what you want to do in the offseason. Now, on the defensive side, Chamari Connor, if he's able to play, I think you should get him a little bit of work just to knock some of that rust off now. And again, maybe a quarter, and that's about it. I do want to see younger guys play. Keith Taylor, I thought, stuck his nose in there last week and played really, really well for his time out there. I want to see him out there. Nazee's got to get back on the field, try to develop some of his confidence and rekindle that and get that back out there. I also think that you want to see how Cooks and Hicks perform together without Justin Reed on the field. I think that might be really interesting as well. And I personally want to see Cam Jones on the field on defense. I think you need to give Trank a little bit of rest, Nick as well. Maybe you run some two-backer stuff. Maybe, obviously, with Jack Cochran out, it changes things. But maybe you have enough that you feel that you can get Cam on there at the very least and maybe play with the rest of the linebacker group. We'll talk about that later coming up closer to the Bronco game. Now, the defensive line, that's a tough one. Derek Notty's still not 100%. He's been playing through injury all season long, ever since camp. Not there. Now Mike Pennell a little bit beat up. Obviously, Chris Jones going to be out. Got to protect Turk a little bit. So, Tui Pelotu, welcome to the starting lineup. I would just give him free reign. You've been carrying him all season for him to come on at the end and give legs. Well, now he can give fresh legs. Let's get after it. Want to see Uche activated again. Maybe let Charles relax a little bit. He's been playing pretty well, but you need him tip top for the postseason. FAU should get a lot of reps at edge as well. I would probably let George rest after a series or two. I would say that George could probably sustain a little bit of work just to keep him tuned up. I thought he played one of his best games of the season last week against the Steelers, so let's see if they can keep him there. So that's kind of my philosophy here the day after, because it's all important now that you have that rest to take full advantage of it. And that means to me, not pushing the stars, particularly Patrick and Kels. They just got to sit and rest, go to meetings. I wouldn't even, I'd be tempted not to practice them, to tell you the truth. That's exactly where I'm kind of at. I would take the time to not go there. So when it's all said and done, that's how I feel. And I think that that's a good plan going forward. Now, what then comes next is preparation. Who you think is going to get? There's a lot that's going to change. Hopefully, and I know this is weird to say, hopefully the Ravens can overtake and win that division, because that is going to make a great matchup for the Chiefs. They'll be on one side of the bracket. If, say, all the wild card teams lose and the top four, which is the most likely scenario, but we always know there can be upsets. If that happens, Chiefs in the number 1 would play the number 4. So if the Ravens win, that number 4 is going to be the Texans. Nobody's going to overtake them right now. I don't see that happening. So it's then going to be Bills versus Ravens in that divisional game. That works pretty good for me. If we don't have to, I don't want them to have to play the Bills and then the Ravens, or the Ravens and then the Bills. Let's just keep it out of there. So in that scenario, if the Ravens don't get that and they are the 4 seed, Chiefs would play Ravens, then they would get Bills. That's the way that it will go. So let's hope and be a Ravens fan here just for a week to see if they can get that sorted out. That's where I'm at today. We'll have more for you coming up. Obviously, a lot of detail and a lot of updates as we go through the week, getting ready for this game, and then what they're going to do in the postseason. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell. Thanks for being with us. Check out our friends at BetUS. Very much appreciate you. Have a great one and enjoy getting ready for New Year's. Have a lot coming for you. Thanks. We'll talk to you next time.